What's going on, guys? So we just got a couple of additions here to our studio setup here. We had 2 cameras running for the first time on the podcast, so we could do the fancy camera switch thing. I just want to let you know there was some technical difficulties. Our guest is out of focus, and my camera is a little choppy and died on me like an hour into the podcast. So this might be a good podcast to just listen to in the background. I just want to thank you guys for watching the podcast. And hopefully cutting me a little bit of slack because we're still new at this. The next one's going to be crispy, I promise. So thank you for watching, and here's Yonder from Kill Tony.
You are listening to GORCAST, you idiot.
You're a Discord guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to get on Discord. You need to teach me how to Discord because
I
have a Discord, but...
You got to join the Kill Tony Discord. That's the only one that matters.
Okay. I'll get on the Kill Tony Discord. But yeah, I just don't I have one for the band, and there's like 80, fans and stuff on there that will talk to us. I was doing it because I used to do Twitch streaming a lot.
Oh yeah.
So I was doing that to kind of push the stream, and then to have place for people to go, and
yeah.
My buddy is like a little younger than me, and he's like, you gotta have a Discord, dude. You know what I mean? And he's set it all up and everything, and I was like, all right, but I just forget to go on there. And I like the app. The app is really cool, and I'm like, every time I'm on it, I'm like, I should use this more often.
It's the best way. It's the most what's the word I'm looking for? It's the easiest group chat situation you can have. Because it has all the options. You can do the video and then chat with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It looks intimidating at first.
Yeah,
but
we talk to we do band meetings, video chat meetings on there.
It's the best way to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's better than text.
Are we good to go? Are we going? We're going.
Oh, we're going.
Just like that, right into it, brother.
Perfect.
So Yonder,
I'm him.
thank you for coming, dude.
Thanks
I really
for having
appreciate
me,
it.
dude. It's good shit.
I'm a big fan of you just as a human.
Oh,
you're
nonsense.
a nice human, and I go to Vulcan all the time. You always see me there, so I've bumped into you a lot, and I'm really glad to be able to sit down and get to know you a little more and talk to you.
Here we are.
So yeah, thank you for coming.
Thanks,
for
man.
people that don't know who you are, Yonder Wizzerd, aka what's your real name again?
Kelsey Hudgins.
Kelsey Hudgins. Why'd you change your name?
I didn't.
Oh, you did?
It wasn't me. It was honestly Red Band started calling me Yonder all the time because, here, everybody in the Discord that we were just talking about, my Kill Tony Discord, I'm Yonder Wizzerd pretty much everywhere online.
Mm-hmm.
So, online people, they call each other by their internet names, and that's what happened to me. I had Tyson's Tacos last night, and I just keep rancidly burp. Oh,
no, it's
dude,
all good, dude.
Tyson's
Get
is
it.
fire.
Is it the
bro.
fire?
Yeah.
Do you know
dude.
about this? No? Okay. He lives in San Antonio, so. But yeah.
You're super thin for San Antonio, dude. But Red Band just started calling me Yonder. And
okay. Does that have to do with
real
the
life.
bags that they put the phones in?
No, see,
Is that a coincidence?
This is a coincidence, but they dropped the E, so they don't have to pay me because I've been Yonder longer than they have.
Are you serious, or is that a joke?
No,
okay.
that's a joke. I tell everybody that. They're like, are these yours? And I'm like,
Right.
nah.
See, I put that together after going to Vulcan 10 times. I was like, wait, is he just the way that I thought about it was because you're constantly putting phones in bags because you work at the venue,
right?
That you're the Yonder Wizzerd.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're.
Yeah, one would think, but man, if I were that guy, I definitely wouldn't be putting the phones in them. I would just be collecting the
royalties,
the mailbox money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, how long have you been in Austin? Are you from here, or did you just kind of move here and start showing up at Vulcan and doing stuff there?
Yeah, I'm actually from South Carolina.
Okay.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I lived there for years, but I visited Austin after I started doing some online stuff with Red Band.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Yeah, come on out to Austin. I'll let you do a spot at the secret show."
Oh, what? Really?
Just come on and
this was
see what it's
before you
about.
were ever on Kill Tony and.
I had done a pandemic episode, which is where you send the videos in, you record it at home.
Okay. So that's how he knew about who you were, kind of, or.
Well, we do virtual reality together.
Oh, okay.
So
his crazy VR shit.
Yeah, the virtual red band. We do that together, and so yeah, he knew who I was through that. Like, pretty much, like I got an opening spot at the Secret Show. Maybe I can't remember what it was, but it was just like a super short. Like, whether or not you do well,
right?
It doesn't matter. So he kind of took a shot. Took a chance on me.
You fucking kill it.
And thanks, man. But like then I didn't, like back then, like I wasn't there yet.
Okay.
But
he took up.
Yeah, he took a shot on me, and I came out here and just kind of fell in love with the place. First time I visited, I was like, this could work.
Yeah.
And then the second time was like, okay, I think I actually want to move here. Mm-hmm. And by the third time, when I came back for like the Kill Tony 500 episode,
yeah.
Then I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to happen. And I got up with a few guys on my Discord group. We got a house together and like, organized all that.
That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah, basically I've been here for a little bit more than a year.
Okay, cool. I just moved down finally in July. Same thing happened to me, though.
Welcome to you.
Thank you, man. I love being here so much. I'm blessed. Every day I get drive, take a right and go downtown, from here and see that city. And I'm just like, fucking here I am, dude.
I've never lived in a place like this.
I've never left my hometown. So I lived in my
pretty much same.
I lived in my hometown in Portland, Oregon for 31 years, and then I moved here, and it's just been a blast. But yeah, so you moved here from South Carolina a year ago, and then you're immediately working at Vulcan, or how did you get the job there?
Pretty much, I was hanging out one night at a random spot where everybody hangs out, and Tony was there with the then manager of Vulcan. Mm-hmm. They were sitting at a table together, and Tony just kind of like, hey, come over here. And I was like, all right. So I walk over there, and he introduced me to the manager, and the manager was like, you're a pretty big guy. How would you feel about working the door at Vulcan? And, like, I didn't ask for a job. Like, I was just kind of there, and they offered. So that was pretty neat.
You're like, thanks?
I was like, yeah, dude. Like, yeah, you're a pretty big guy. How you feel about, doing some door guy stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, dude. Let's do it. I wanted to be there anyway. I would have,
Right.
I was already buying tickets for all the shows and stuff. So
you like working there? Like,
oh yeah,
being around everything, and it seems like fun, honestly.
Yeah,
I know a couple of y'all, Nick and David.
Yeah.
I've just kind of
David Flores.
made acquaintances with. Everybody there is just super cool, man.
Yeah, that's my boy.
They're next on the menu for me. I'm trying to get them out here and talk to me.
Hell yeah.
You can tell them I'm not a creep.
Yeah, I will be sure to do so. But yeah, man, it's awesome. I'll get in my head sometimes because it's a job. Any job's going to become monotonous.
Sure.
And I'll get in my head sometimes because I'm a crazy person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, overall.
What do you mean? Like, you're just like.
I don't know.
Like, I'm just working at the door here. Like, what do you mean getting your
I
head?
say this thing sometimes where I'm like, sometimes you take out trash long enough, you think that's what you are.
That sounds like a real good Southernism, like a South Carolina Southernism.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of those. I have a lot of those. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
What does that one mean?
It's like once something is done, it can't be undone.
Okay.
So like I'll say sometimes like, oh man, I'm just miserable. I'm working so much. I don't have any time to do anything else. But then when I'm thinking about what else would I be doing, I want to be there for Kill Tony and for Rogan and all of these shows and everything like that. And
you get the all access season tickets, and you get to make money while you're there. I guess you could flip it. It's like a perspective thing, about depending on how you're feeling that day, right? It's like,
but that's why I say because I'm a crazy person,
right?
And like I get in my head sometimes about just random shit, and I don't know. I'll think. I'm not even stoned for this, and I'm still rambling. Maybe I should have gotten high.
I don't know. We can we should have gotten maybe a little stoned, but then I get stoned, and I'm like I get antisocial. I'm like a very social person naturally, and then I get stoned, and I'm like, hey, even around people I've known for years. So I think it's probably best that we didn't.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, I don't know. I have like my brain is like one of those just jumbled all the time. Mm-hmm. So usually when I get high, it'll let me like zero in on what I'm doing. But anyway, what was I saying? Where was I going with
just
that?
about working at the door and
and
how you like it.
I do. I really do love it. Like it's not
every job has its days, basically.
every job has its days, and I have a hard time sometimes with knowing when I'm just having a day,
right?
Or thinking, oh my God, this is never going to end, and I'm going to feel this way forever. But we had our Christmas party last night.
I saw something,
and
that's what I thought it was.
It was nice to go and hang out with the crew. No responsibilities, no work.
Were y'all at like a venue for that or something?
Yeah, we went to Skinny's on 12th by Chacon, corner of 12th and Chacon. It's a pretty cool spot. But yeah, I don't know. It's just nice doing that, and I'm realizing, like, dude, I have this work family that I'm gonna love these people for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like, these are my people now.
And are a lot of them from different places as well, or
a lot of them are from Detroit.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
There was a huge influx of Detroit people that came in, and of course there's a couple of LA guys, a few Virginia guys. There's a lot of people from Virginia as well.
Is it strictly people that are comedians or have done stand up or do it sometimes? They're kind of strict about that, right?
It's a lot of us are comics, but here lately we've been getting a lot of non-comics as well. So it's either like comics or people who are like just super fans of comedy that come to the shows and understand, the vibe we try to keep in the room while the shows are happening.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Because it's a hard thing to determine when it's time for us to step in on somebody who's talking or being disruptive in the like you've been to the shows, you've seen us have to intervene.
I'm like an unofficial security guard. Like when somebody's like riling up, I'll like make some eye contact with some people there. Like
that's good.
You fucking see this guy, you know what I mean? Because like I go there probably 5 times a month.
Yeah.
Or more. You know what I mean? And so it's like it's I love that place. And it's like you gotta respect the comics, you know what I mean? And you can't be heckling and yelling and stuff, and some people just don't get it. Like they wanna go they think that, and I part of me understands, especially if you don't go to comedy shows a lot and you're used to like when you buy a ticket to something, you're gonna go get drunk and have a crazy time at like a metal show or at a rock show or something, right? But it's like this is like, I don't know. It's like a white collar event. Like you sit there, and you enjoy quietly until you're made to laugh by the comedian. Like it is kind of a weird dynamic that I can see how somebody who doesn't get out much, you know what I mean? Like they don't understand the etiquette, but yeah, it's definitely. Have you guys had like a bunch of crazy shit? Is it always every night there's some crazy shit? I feel like the last couple times I've been, it was pretty tame.
Yeah, honestly, we get on them early. If it's like our Kill Tony nights are a little bit more rowdy. Tony likes the room more like a party vibe or whatever. So we let the guys get a little bit more rowdy.
Yeah. In
that show, but for like Rogan, in the line when we're wristbanding them, we're like, guys, we're recording the show tonight from beginning to end. So just anytime there's comedians on stage, just no talking, laugh by all means.
Yeah.
But just no conversation at the table. We have microphones all through the building that pick up crowd ambiance and stuff. So, like, we let them know you guys are being recorded. So, just no yelling at the stage. Respect the art form.
Right.
Exactly. So, we usually by the time they get inside, that's why we're pretty strict on them inside, is because they've already been told several times.
Right.
Before they get to that point.
Exactly.
So,
you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, like, guys, look, we've told you.
Yeah.
What I hate is when it's a guy who loves Joe Rogan.
Oh God.
And he's been
like
waiting for this
hunter dude.
He's been waiting for this moment since he bought these tickets that are almost impossible to get unless you're there when you.
Right.
When does this air, by the way? Tickets go on sale tomorrow.
I don't know. Oh, is there a show tomorrow?
No, there's not a show tomorrow, but tickets go on sale at noon tomorrow for Rogan next week.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, I'll try to be there, but
anyway, what I hate is when a guy who loves Rogan, he's gotten these tickets, he's waited for his time, and then he brings his wife who doesn't give a shit
or doesn't like him even,
worse,
anti-Roganer
or whatever,
yeah.
And then she is just drunk and yelling at the stage, or that's not funny, or talking to the then. She gets kicked out, and he has to take her home, and he's like, "You're ruining my night. I wanted to."
She could get an Uber.
Oh, dude, I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen where he's like, "Look, I wanted to deal with this shit. You can stand out here and wait."
Yes.
because I'm always the guy out front. I'm not inside the building anymore. I'm the one out front who's like.
During the show, you're pretty much big chilling out there, unlocking, making sure people can get their phone out of the thing and whatever.
Well, it looks like big chilling, but what it really is I'm like, when I tell my guys, like, whenever you kick somebody out, just get them out of the door and leave them with me.
Yeah.
Like, just go back inside because they're not going to want to reason or talk or hear anything from the person
you're a nice
who's
guy.
kicked them out.
You probably settle them down a little bit. You probably de-escalate a little bit.
Well, that's why I'm out there.
Okay.
Like, that's
smart.
I'm good at that.
That's smart.
Like, I'm good at, like, guys, look, I'm sorry. You can come back tomorrow. There's another show tomorrow.
And you can't be mad at you. Like if there's a big bald tattooed bouncer that was kind of an angry looking dude, you know what I mean? Like you could be mad at him for kicking you out, fuck you, man. But it's like if you're like, hey, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like you can't be mad at Yonder. You know
but what I mean? You'll see these people go through all of the stages of grief. Right there, because first it's like they're upset, they just got kicked out, and then they see me, nice guy. Oh, I can reason with this guy, so they're like, what can I do to get back inside?
Right. Oh, they're trying to wheel and deal with you.
I'm like,
they're wheeling and dealing.
I'm like, I'm sorry you ended up out here with me, but I can't let you back inside. And then they're like, yeah, well, you're nice enough about it. I understand. So then they walk away. And then they come back and they're like, but listen, I wasn't even doing anything. So then they're getting the anger.
Right.
Like they're going through all of the...
They walk down the street and they go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I have a case to be made.
Yeah.
And they try to come argue it with you.
Yeah.
You know, the funniest thing about comedy show goers that get kicked out of shows, like, because I'm from the metal world.
Right.
And rock and roll shows and stuff. And it's like, you got to really fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
To get kicked out of a mosh pit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to be
throwing bows.
Intentionally harming people, touching girls weird.
Right.
You got to be fucked up to, like, really drunk to like, where you're falling over or you're being angry to get kicked out of shows. And so most people get kicked out of shows, and like you said, there's that initial, like, please, can I just stay? And then they kind of, they understand. They go, okay, I deserve that. But comedy show goers are in my experience of just seeing people get kicked out, which has happened a couple times, they are the most, like, they don't feel like they deserve to be kicked out.
They're dumbfounded.
Right? Yeah, and they don't understand it. And it's like somebody needs to teach a class on, like, how to go to a comedy show. Like that. What's the class that they teach, like, pregnant women before they have the baby, and they teach the husband how to
Lamaze class.
Oh, you see, that's awesome that you know that. I don't know. Yeah,
I was a big Bill Cosby fan. He talked about it.
Okay.
No, he talked about it in Bill Cosby himself.
No, but it's like they need one of those classes, something like to teach people how to. They need a Lamaze type class.
Well,
pre comedy show, $30. We'll teach you how to be at the comedy show so you don't get kicked out.
Well, the door guys, we've talked about doing this and like making like a funny but informative
yes,
like video,
like those videos that play on the airplane.
Kind of, yeah,
that
exactly.
Would be so funny, dude.
Or like,
and it's like, hey, don't be a fucking asshole, and like you're all smiling like the whole time or whatever.
Pretty much,
that would be
it's
good.
Like we would set up different situations of. It'd be like a training video for door guys, but it could also be for informing the crowd of like, hey, these are the things that are inappropriate at a comedy show,
right?
Like. Obviously, no yelling at the stage, no having a conversation at the table. But a lot of people will think that just because they're like talking to their table about a joke that just happened, they think that's laughing.
Right. And then the worst one, which I mean we've all been guilty of, like when a joke really hits you and you're just like, oh my God, and like you want to go like. You want to repeat the thing that was just said. Yeah. Because it's so funny to you.
Yeah.
And I'm even like, I'll have to like, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't repeat the thing. And like, that's the worst is when you hear, I went to a comedy show with a buddy of mine that lives in this apartment building. And I had never been to a comedy show with somebody or with him before. And when you go to a comedy show with somebody, I'm finding after I go to a lot of them, like, you need to make sure you know who you're going to a comedy show with. This is a different. You don't just bring a random new person you just met to a comedy show. It's risky because you don't know if they're like the annoying laugher guy or like they're the repeat everything. This guy was repeating everything.
Oh
like
man,
the whole time, bro. and it was like not loud enough to get him kicked out, but loud enough so that it was bothering me the whole entire time.
Yeah.
And he would look at me and go, and just repeat the joke
dude,
I just heard. Like
I'm here too.
I fucking just heard it.
I saw him do it.
Yeah, it was great. Yes.
Well, see, that's why we step in for people like you, who is being distracted by someone who and that's what I train. Well, I personally tell the door guys to do. Like if somebody's like, if they say something one time to somebody at their table and then that's it, and they do that a couple times, then that's fine.
Right.
But if it, like, watch the tables around them. Like, if the tables around them start to turn their heads towards that guy and away from the stage, that's when you step in.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes I've seen some people get some chances at Vulcan, though. Like,
dude, we're
chances.
For all of the Google reviews that you can read or Yelp reviews on the Vulcan staff being really being rude to people,
those are people that get
them out for nothing. For all of those, dude, we give so many chances.
Dude, I was amazed this girl didn't get kicked out one time. I think I was at Rogan, and she was like, it was like a whole table, 2 girls, 2 guys, falling like out of their seat drunk and just like yelling, talking to each other, like, you know, when you think you're being quiet when you're drunk, well, you're actually just yelling,
right?
You know what I mean? And the guy came over and tapped her. It was the ball. I think he's like one of Joe Rogan's security dudes. I'm not sure. Like the bald dude, shorter guy. I don't know. But he came over and tapped her like 5 times, dude. And it was like, I was like, damn. Me and my buddy were like, or the guy I was sitting next to were like, is this the one? Is he gonna toss her out of here? You know what I mean? But he was just being nice. She ended up quieted down, but it's just like, man, she's lucky. She's lucky.
See, sometimes it works. Sometimes you walk up to a table and you're like, hey guys, just a heads up, we're glad you're having a great time, but could you please just keep the talking down? Like, laugh, but no talking.
But the level of entitlement, dude, like these fans have, because they'll be like totally obnoxious, and then the Vulcan staff come over, hey, you can't be talking, you know, like one more time we're gonna have to kick you guys out, so just be quiet.
Yeah.
And then like you see the guy walk away, and then you see the girl go, you know
who the fuck is he to tell me what I can or can't do?
And it's like, dude,
they're bad about
being
that.
The fun police. But so when you started working there, did you notice any like did you notice it like maybe helped you improve in like performing, like either comedy or music, like whether it was the repetition of you being on the Secret Show and stuff like that, or like because you're doing that are you doing that every Thursday?
Every other Thursday I rotate with Trace of Lime.
Okay. I don't know who they are.
Opening
is that a guy or
music? It's a band.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do the pre-show.
Right.
And every now and again I'll do a set, but I'll talk to the crowd between my songs.
Oh, you're great, dude. Yeah, we have so much fun. Me and my girlfriend go to shows a lot, and when I told her that you were doing the podcast with me, she was like, "Oh, that's so cool! I love that, dude." Because we saw you at a Secret Show a while back. I think it was the one that Sickler was on.
Yeah,
dude. And you were just, the way that you cover songs is just awesome. Like, it's like a unique, just like kind of screamy, passionate, you know what I mean, cover of things. I can't describe it. Do you have recorded music anywhere?
Yeah,
okay,
a
cool.
lot of it.
We'll plug it
it's
at the
on.
end. We'll plug everything, but
all
on Spotify, Yonder Wizzerd,
Kelsey Hudgins.
Kelsey Hudgins. Okay, cool. We'll plug it. I'll put it in the comments and shit so people can, or the bio, so people can click on it.
Thank you. But the Secret Show thing, doing that every other week at least, it helps a lot. But seeing the guys on stage, it's like a clinic. And like I worked pretty much indoors for a year, and before I started doing the outside, like the front door thing, because I don't really see a lot of the sets now. But for a year of just being able to watch like whoever Rogan brings with him, like
icons.
Gillis and Norman and Ron White.
Maybe not icons right yet, like, but there will be. Like, they
are.
They're already
they're
there,
icons.
yeah.
Like Tim Dillon, all these guys. Like, just watching their back and forth banter with the crowd.
Absolutely.
And like it's not like I'm stealing things from them, but I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. So that's how you run a room.
I mean, it's the same thing
without
when
an
you
instrument.
grow up going to rock shows and stuff, and you're like from watching you stop being in the crowd at some point. And you start, like looking at the band and what they're just dissecting everything they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you think it's been an improvement then?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, a lot of other people will be like, yeah, well, I'm not going up as much, you know, since I've started working here because I'm here and not being able to do open mics and stuff. So, like, I feel like my comedy's suffering. But I never felt that at all. In fact, I felt like I only improved whether or not I go up outside of just seeing that. When I go up, I feel like I've improved.
Yeah.
Just because I'm seeing them do it right, it kind of points the way for me. It's sort of like a map on how to do it.
And you're following people that are just craftsmen. It's like you're watching people that are just craftsmen do their thing up there. It's awesome.
And that's another thing too, because I've gone up at the end of a lot of secret shows as well, and you're going up after 2 hours of them just
getting surprised by like celebrities coming out,
and then all of a sudden the last comic of the evening, and it's me.
Dude, you would be a great last one though. They usually stick a guy on there to clear the room out, like a really like nasty. Who's the nasty guy, dude?
Jason Rouse.
Jason Rouse.
Listen,
dude.
I'm here to tell you that Jason Rouse is my fucking favorite, dude.
Dude, I love that guy.
I love
He's
Rouse.
Wild. I want to get him on here to talk to him about some shit.
He would love to do it.
That guy
he lives right around the corner.
That guy is bananas. And it's a skill to clear a room like that.
Well,
like the way that you sit there for as long as you physically can take it. It's like I don't know what else to compare it to. Like it's like a sauna.
Yeah.
Like you sit there until you just go, I gotta fucking go, dude. Like this guy just keeps going on and on with this.
He makes it a game sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, he for sure. You can tell he does. That's like it's its own genre of comedy.
He'll walk out of the green room and say, "Let's see if we can walk him."
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Like
that guy's evil.
It's great,
I love it.
dude.
Very talented. Very talented.
But what's funny about him is he's using that as like the closing spot is like a sacred spot. You know, the Kinnison spot is what they call it. Don Barris, Brian Holtzman, Brody Stevens. So the closing spot, the person who does the last spot of the evening, Sam Kinnison, used to go up at the Comedy Store at the very end and just like run the room for the rest of the night, go as long as he wanted. And Brian Holtzman does that now.
Holtzman's good too at that. He doesn't live here, does he?
No, he moved back to LA.
He moved back to LA, yeah.
He got his pension, so he started traveling a little bit. Oh, yeah. You know?
Yeah, I saw him a handful of times before I moved down here.
Man, he's no nicer comedian I've ever met than Holtzman. He's like, he gave me his number, was like, call me if you're ever in Los Angeles. Yeah. And I'm like, hell yeah, Brian.
Dude,
just
he's a
really
nice guy. Yeah, I met him outside the venue a couple times. That's the other cool thing about
And he handed you a sticker?
Yeah, he did. I got the sticker, yeah. The bobblehead looking sticker that he has of himself, like a cartoon. You got one? Here, hold it up so that the camera can see it. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that, Tony? A little lower. Is he in frame? Is it very good? Okay, cool. You might want to scoot in just a tad if you can. I want you to be comfortable though.
Oh yeah.
But
here we are.
That's the cool thing about living here, dude. It's such a blessing that we get to just go out to these comedy shows on a whim. Like I can just be like, oh yeah. I mean, you got to have tickets for like Kill Tony or whatever. But Secret Show, you can pretty much score a ticket to Secret Show most weeks.
Day of.
You know what I mean? Yeah, day of. And it can be. I mean, fuck, Theo Vaughn was there. One of the last ones I went to. You know what I mean? It's
last week. The lineup was the best secret show I've ever seen.
Gillis was here, right?
Well, no, last week it was Josh Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Griffin, Brian Simpson, Bobby Lee.
Oh, yeah, Bobby Lee. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Nuts. And, dude, it was the tickets were kind of low for that show, and I was thinking, like, dude, these people have no idea, dude.
You got to text me now. I got an in. You got to be like, get down here, dude.
Yeah. And obviously Tony, and all of the regulars, but like he's a regular.
Lucas is coming out now, right?
David's here now.
I love David Lucas, man.
Bro,
I love him so much. I think he's my favorite comedian right now.
He came to our party last night. He's
fucking hilarious.
Him and Tony going back and forth for as long as they have on Kill Tony.
They could do a separate show, like their
time.
own roast battle thing of them just doing that back and forth or something, like their own. I mean, they basically do their own segment on Kill Tony like that. But That's the cool thing about you, though, is I feel like you are of a small number of folks that have appeared on Kill Tony, and you got this like sweet spot where you're like a recurring character on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
But you don't have the pressure.
That's what you want.
Of being a regular, right?
That's what you want.
So like you don't have to like, oh fuck, I gotta fucking write a new minute every week. But like when you come on, there's a pop because it's like, oh, it's like, you know, people that really love the show know who you are. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the spot to be in for sure.
Yeah, a lot. I do get that a lot, and when people are coming in the door where they're like, hey, are you signing up tonight? And I'm like, nah, not tonight. Because I don't. Tyson's Tacos, shout out. But no, I don't. I wait. I'm not greedy. Yeah. And I notice a lot of people that are like, they'll get pulled, and they're like, okay, I got pulled. I got to try again next week. I got to get up again next week.
Door guys too, right? Door guys, everybody seems to not. They don't go up that much.
Well,
and everyone's funny. Like all the door guys are funny, dude.
Yeah.
Like what's the other guy's name? The big dude. That's
Mumford?
Really funny. Maybe he's not a door guy. I don't know.
Mumford, Darian, Trey.
Trey's hilarious, I think. I think that's the one that I'm thinking of. He's kind of southern. He has an accent too, right?
Yeah. Darian and Trey are both from Tennessee.
Okay.
Mumford's from Virginia. But yeah, they've all been
every
up.
time you've gone up, it's hilarious. It's perfect. Like, how do you write jokes? Do you just like?
If I say something in the world and people laugh at it, I'm like, okay, I'll write that down. I don't like go up to mics and like hash my minutes. I don't do that like all the other comics do. And like,
consider yourself more of a musician than a comedian, or are you a 50-50 hybrid?
I would like to think I'm 50-50.
I think you're 50-50.
But a lot of other people are like, well, you're not a comic. You're a musician that does jokes. So like
that's a little harsh. That's a hot take. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
every time you open your mouth to do a joke, it's funny. So are you a comic?
Well, that's what I say. That's what I say, man. But I think that there's just a lot of comedians that are in the area that do the open mics every chance they get. There's
probably some toxicity in
they want to go up as often as they can, and they think that anyone who doesn't do things the way that they do isn't doing it correctly.
Right.
And I'm not of that mindset. I think that, if you go on stage and you get laughs, you're a comic. If you go on stage with a microphone and you put yourself out there to do that, you're a comedian.
Right.
Like, whether it's funny or not, you don't. Getting laughs doesn't make you a comic. Attempting to get people laugh is what really makes you a comedian.
Profound. Yeah.
Like, it's not. It's Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle even said about his Chicago experience. Or was it Detroit? I can't remember.
Where he got attacked or something?
No, he had this has been years ago, where he had just a bad set. He had a really bad set, a bad hour, and everybody was like wanting their money back because it was like, and he was like, I don't get paid to be funny. I get paid for the attempt. So I was like, okay, so that makes sense. I can see that.
You have to respect it.
You have to.
You have to respect it.
You have to. You want to play footsie?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good, man.
Sorry, this table's a little small.
It's all good.
Listen, we're in the beginning phase here.
I'm a giant.
Listen.
No, but you're good. But yeah, just I personally feel like, I mean, obviously I've been doing music a lot longer, but every time I got on stage to play songs, I was always talking to the crowd, doing crowd work, like getting people to laugh, like making jokes. Yes.
I'm a front man in my band, and I have to do the same thing.
Always.
Especially when the band's shit fucks up and it's dead silent.
You got to feel the dead air.
Yeah, exactly. And so I have to be like, well, if they would just listen to me and get a MacBook, this wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Or something like that. You know, it's like, and then everybody laugh. You know what I mean? So it's like, that actually kind of makes me want to transition to something I want to talk to you about. So I want two backstories from you, because you're a 50-50 artist.
Yeah.
You're a hybrid. So we'll start with music. When was the first like musical thing that you ever did? Like when did you pick up a guitar? Was that your first instrument that you ever played? Like, take me all the way back to like when you started ever fucking around with music.
So I lived with my grandparents, and my granddad was the greatest musician that ever lived, and he was a piano player, so that was my first instrument.
Okay,
so I just started,
which I think
that's like no, I play everything by ear.
Okay.
But it was always available. The piano was always there, and I think that's a really nice way to start because it gives you the fundamentals of music and like learning chords and learning like that. I don't know, just learning the motions of what sounds right and training your ear
scales and things.
Yeah, scales and such. But I started doing that when I was probably around, I don't know, 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7, on the piano. And then when I was 8, my granddad gave me a guitar and tuned it to like an open tuning, and I would play on my lap with a butter knife, like
nice, like a lap steel or whatever.
Kind of,
yeah. Nice.
And then I kind of I got in a pretty bad accident when I was 8. I had like a head injury when I was 8, and it was long story, but I was in a coma for a few days.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And I woke up, and
as an 8-year-old,
yeah,
that's fucking terrifying.
You
remember it pretty well?
No, I remember waking up. I remember being in the hospital like pretty vividly. I remember walking. I remember like the right before the accident, and then waking up in the hospital. I don't remember any of the middle stuff.
Okay. Did you get hit by a car or something?
I fell off of a car that was moving. Like I was I was selling chocolate for my elementary school,
the fundraiser thing,
the world's finest chocolate shit. And I was walking to the house that's the farthest from my house, and my aunt was going to my other aunt's house, and she was like, "Just hop on my trunk. I'll drive slow, and then I'll drive you down to the."
I bet she got a fucking
she
chewed out hard for that.
She felt horrible, but
yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't her fault. I was into the Power Rangers and shit, and I was trying to jump off and do something cool or whatever.
You were 8. You were in the back of a car.
I was a kid.
You were like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
Yeah, I was a kid. But
sorry. Anyway.
No, yeah. But so that happened, and then after that, it just kind of all started to like really fall into place. I asked for a drum set. And the first time I sat behind a drum set, I did just a simple.
Yeah.
Like I just worked. Like the first time I ever tried it.
So this is like a superhero story. Like you had the injury, and then you became this multi-talented musician.
Honestly, sort of, yeah.
That's sick.
Like no, I mean not. Yeah, it was sort of like that. But when I turned 13, I really got interested in guitar. Like I could play. Like I messed around with the bass and the drums and piano a lot, but guitar just seemed a little scary for me.
It's a lot of frets and a lot of strings.
Yeah,
and a lot of this.
A lot
of this.
Yeah, but when it finally clicked, my granddad showed me like G, C, and D, and was like, "Go learn those chords, and when you get those right, I'll show you some more."
Right.
And he gave me those 3 chords, and I never had to. Like I just
you learned from there.
Yeah,
you started earing out songs and.
Well, now that's I think is the biggest tool that I have is my ear.
Yeah,
like that I can hear.
I can't train that.
Yeah, like you either got that or you don't.
Right.
And I mean it sounds braggadocious,
no,
but
that's the truth.
But it's the truth. And I have a really good ear. So I can think of a song and it just plays in my head like on the radio, like all the parts, and like I can make it go up or down.
Strum a couple things, and then you got it.
Sort of, but I was very lucky to have been. That was the beginning stages of like the internet, and I could get chords to all the songs that I knew.
UltimateGuitar.com.
Ultimate Guitar. I learned how to play a
little guitar. Okay,
I play guitar with Ultimate Guitar. I learned that way.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid.
Same, basically.
I would go and I knew the songs well enough in my head to where if I just saw the chords, I was like, okay, this is. And I would even like.
Right.
When I first started, I was like, okay, this is going to work out, and I'm figuring this out. Is when I could see Ultimate Guitar give me chords, and I'd be like, okay, this chord is wrong. I know this chord is wrong.
Because it doesn't sound right.
Because it doesn't sound right.
Right.
So then
and I know the song.
Right. So that's when I was like, okay, so I don't even need this anymore. So I was like, I'm going to try to learn these songs without the tabs and without the.
And then it became a game.
Then it was a video game. I gamified it.
And then you won the game.
Technically, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much that whole origin story of.
That's a great origin story
of that. Like I really enjoyed. I don't know. I really enjoyed impressing people.
Right.
And that was like a surefire way of doing
like
that.
You could play this song or whatever, or friends or.
Yeah. I was a bad kid. I was just a mean kid. I was a piece of shit.
No way.
I was.
Is that why you're so nice now?
Yes.
I couldn't picture it.
I was such a piece of shit, dude.
Well, give me an example of something mean.
My granddad had a car lot, and all the cars were in our yard. So like it was like our yard was like a used car lot. And
in South Carolina?
Yeah. And like it's not like it was like a decent, like a nice
would
house
sell the
with
cars.
a bunch of cars in our side yard.
He would sell the cars for real. Okay. So it wasn't just like when the cars are like collecting. It wasn't a junkyard.
No.
This is a car lot.
No, it was a car lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get it right.
G&M Motors.
Get it right. He ran it out of the house.
Yeah. Yeah, there was an office in the back of the house like that was separate from the house. That was like he had a desk and everything. But anyway,
awesome.
I took a baseball bat to every car in the yard one time.
No, you did
every headlight,
not,
every tail light.
dude.
I flattened all the tires.
What? Because you were like couldn't go hang out with your friends. Or you were mad.
No,
You were like
no.
mad,
I was just
bored?
malicious. I was a bored, malicious kid. I had all
God.
this energy I wasn't putting anywhere, and
imagine if you hadn't gotten that out of your system when you were a kid.
I know. Thankfully, I did, which I think that's the thing. And I would lie to just make conversation, like when I was a kid. About kids lie.
Yeah.
So like I was really bad about that, but thankfully I got it all out of my system then, because now I don't like.
Now life is chill.
I've seen the error in my ways.
Right.
But yeah, I was really bad. So I was really glad whenever the music came around. It was like a redeeming quality for me to my family, because I was 100%. I think I still am the black sheep.
And it was an outlet more than anything. Probably got you off the malicious stuff, just being able to play guitar. And then you were getting a dopamine hit from like playing guitar and being like, yeah, I played that, and then making other people happy. So then you don't have to smash cars with baseball bats and do those kind of things. Right. Yeah.
But it was cool because I as soon as I started playing guitar, I had a buddy of mine, Chris Burks, who we started a band together. As soon as I started playing guitar, I learned 3 chords, and we were doing, and this was church stuff because I grew up in the church a lot. So we were doing Lord, I Lift Your Name on High.
Okay.
And fucking.
Were you singing at that time and playing guitar?
Yeah.
So you've always done the singing and playing guitar.
Yeah.
See, that is also pretty remarkable, because that's a thing that I feel like with guitarists, you either do that or you don't. Like you either sing and play guitar or you just play guitar. You know what I mean? Because like I know a lot of guitarists that are never gonna sing while they're playing guitar on stage, because it's just like it's like one of these things. So you like rub your stomach and pat your head at the same time. Like a lot of people just can't comprehend doing that. You know what I mean? Do you sing and play guitar? No, he plays guitar too. But it's hard.
Yeah.
So did that just come naturally as well then? Because you do it real good.
See, thank you. I think that it's a thing to where I hadn't, like, my brain didn't know that was a hard thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that it was difficult, so I just did it. So I think that it was like, I think that sometimes if your brain gets in the way of you, that's a problem. Like sometimes your brain can say this thing is going to be really hard, so it's going to be hard whether it is or not. Okay. I don't think it's that difficult.
So you think that it's more like you can just trick your brain into saying,
I think
this is going to be easy, we're going to do it, and then you're just doing it.
But I think that works with everything.
I think there's some truth to that for sure.
I think that's not just a music thing. I think that works with every aspect of life.
Anything that you like want, that if you're trying to think like, oh, I can't do that. Like a job you want to get or something like that, or you know, for me, like going on stage, like I'm pretty good. I think I'm actually at this point in my career musically, I'm most comfortable in life when I'm on stage, which I'm thankful for, because some people are like I have my friends, dude. I have some metal friends. They are so fucking good, man, at what they do, and they are just full of butterflies when they get up on stage. And like before they're in the green room, like, fuck, there's a lot of people out there, dude. And I'm like, you've been doing this for 10 years and you're fucking amazing. Every time you go out there, it's fine. It's perfect. And he's like, I know, dude, it's just, and it's like they get so in their own head. You can't talk somebody off that ledge. You know what I mean?
Some people can't run unless the devil's behind them, you know?
There's another one, dude. Dude, you need to make a little pocketbook that get Boneseye to make you a little pocketbook, and then you just write them in there, and then you sell it, just print it off, and then sell them the little Southern Yonderisms.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is funny. I should do that.
You should do that. That'd be funny.
But it's true.
And that almost leads me to one other thing that I just had on. I write things down just in case some whatever ideas. We usually just wing it, but I've seen you post on like Twitter and stuff about like how you have anxiety and stuff like that, and how you. So I'm curious, and I think it's just important to bring it up because, like I said, I have a lot of friends that are in music that have anxiety, but they're great performers, right? And so I just want to bring it up because I think it's interesting that people can be so, anxious in life and conversations with people, day to day or whatever, but then when they step on stage or when they have the guitar in their hand, like something kind of clicks. You know what I mean? And just it all that shit goes away.
Yeah.
And everything's fine in that moment. You know what I mean?
For me, that's why the stage is like a sacred spot, because like any artist, I do crave attention, but like any artist, I have anxiety, so the stage is perfect for that. I want attention, but nobody's around me. Like I've got my space in a full room.
Me. I want you to just look at me. Clap for me when I'm done.
Enjoy what I'm doing, but like I don't like. No, I'm fine with even like interaction. Like I kind of open the crowd up a little bit. I get them used to the back and forth banter of comedy, what's usually about to happen after I get done playing. But even if it's just my show, and I don't have to worry about making sure that the crowd's going to be, I have to be careful because I talk a lot to them. I don't want them to continue that when the comedy starts.
Right.
So I don't want to like fuck
you're
up
like the
what's
pre-show.
gonna right. I don't want to fuck up what's gonna happen to the comics when I get off stage. But if I don't have a show behind me and it's just me, then I would say sometimes 20 minutes of a couple-hour show is just me talking banter with the crowd, like to make them feel comfortable and
crowd work,
crowd work,
but
exactly.
not comedy crowd work necessarily, right? Or do you throw a little bit in there?
Sometimes I'll do, which I think I'm going to try to be funny anyway if I see the opportunity for it. But if I don't see the opportunity, I'm not going to force it.
Right.
And I'll do that a lot.
For people that don't understand and don't watch Kill Tony and don't live here and go to comedy shows, by the way, I just want to clear something up. You go on stage and what you do is you open up a comedy show with music and some talking and maybe a little bit of funny in there and kind of get everybody ready while the people are coming in and sitting down.
Right.
You're kind of the opening lounge music, if you will. Yeah.
Instead of having Spotify play in the background, it's a human doing.
Dude, they are
stuff.
so good at that too, by the way. Like getting you in the mode for the show. Like I go there just to not look at my phone. Because
it's so nice.
It's impossible for me to be home and not look at my phone just like everybody else.
Right.
And so put my shit in a bag and let me enjoy a night of entertainment and like conversation, before the show starts with my friends and just like, you're and sometimes you sit down next to people you don't even know and you're forced to like flex those social muscles and chat with new people. Before the show starts, and I just love that. And when you're there playing, it's like even better because you get to enjoy a show and you're not like, oh cool. You know what I mean? Like the Kill Tony band is fucking awesome.
Man, those guys, that's something that doesn't transfer to the YouTube very well.
I know. They need to film that whole set.
But even the bit of music that plays at the beginning of the Kill Tony before Red Band does his intro.
Yeah.
Like it's
so sick.
I'm telling you, that band is fucking monstrous.
They are so talented.
Like
it's insane.
Yeah.
And they can literally ear out anything. I'm want to try to talk to a couple of those people too because they're awesome.
Matt Muelling may be the greatest. Like he may be top 10 in the world.
I loved it because I'm a metal guy. They played a metal song on Monday.
Hell yeah!
Do you remember? I don't know if you were probably outside maybe, but they like played a metal. The lights were all red, and Tony's got that new thing playing on the background that looks kind of metal with the skulls.
New graphic,
the new graphic with the skulls, and I was like, dude, they're out there
all
doing
the devil stuff
because they always do like funk and stuff like that. But it was cool to see D Madness playing a little like Metallica-esque kind of a fucking riff.
Oh yeah,
it was super cool,
dude. Honestly, all of them.
They're all legends.
Every
They're
single
so
one
good.
of them.
The
Every
horn
single
guy?
one of them. Oh, Deemer,
dude.
Deemer's the shit, bro. So this is after Monday, after Kill Tony Monday. Have you ever gone to the Continental Club?
No.
So because of the anxiety thing we were talking about, I don't do a whole lot of recreational hanging. So like, but every Monday after Kill Tony, a large group will end up going to the gallery at the Continental Club.
Of the staff?
Well, yeah, a lot of the Kill Tony crew and stuff, like a lot of those folks will go over to Continental Club. But that's where the jam happens. So John Deese.
Oh, the band guys go over there?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Damn, because I always stay for the Nether Hour.
Bro, it's like even after Nether Hour is done, they all load up and go over to Continental Club.
How do they have the energy for that shit, bro? Cocaine or something?
I don't know, man.
Back there?
I have no idea, bro. But I know that I can't do it.
No, dude.
I can't do it. And I even talk to Tony a lot. Like he's like, "We've got to get you out of this." Where I'm just like going home.
Right. And I was like, he wants you to come out more.
Yeah. And
that's nice of him though.
Dude, Tony's the man. He's so nice, dude. He's so good about like making sure that. Just for me personally, he makes sure I'm comfortable because he knows I'm a squirrely dude between the ears sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's always like making sure, are you okay? Are you happy? Like
it's
just randomly he'll text me, are you happy?
He would be the nicest guy off stage because he's so ruthless, like on stage. It's so fun. And I've met him a couple times. I try not to be a punisher. I just say, hey, thank you for the laughs, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? And walk away because I don't know him. You know what I mean? But he actually, so my first Kill Tony, I was a little too excited. And I Donnell Rawlings was there.
Oh boy!
And it was
at Antone's.
It was that one. So I've got an interesting relationship from afar with Tony that I'll explain right now. And I've explained this to him before, and he called me his like fucking I don't know, like a bad omen or something because I lived in Portland at the time, so I was just visiting, right?
Yeah.
So my first Kill Tony ever was Donnell Rawlings, where he got basically booed off stage.
He went up. He went to take a piss and never came back.
Right. He basically went on a tirade against a golden ticket guy and the golden ticket guy killed him. You know what I mean? In a roast battle. And then Donnell was drunk and didn't like it, and so he stormed out of the building. But I said there was a bunch of people yelling "I'm rich, bitch" out, and I didn't know. I wasn't a veteran of going to comedy shows. And so I yelled it out a time or two, and Red Band made fun of me and called me fat and made fun of my man bun. And then I took my hair out and quieted down for the rest of the show. But then I saw Tony after the show at the bar, and I said, hey, man, that was me. I just wanted to apologize. You know what I mean? So we had a conversation, you know what I mean, and it was all cool. And he was like, thank you. He's like, what are you guys doing? We're from out of town. Well, you guys should come. He was being so sly about it. He's like, you guys should come out to Vulcan on Thursday if you're in town, because there's just a little show, happening, and there might be some comics there, from LA or something. You guys should come out. And we're like, okay. And so we went out to that show. So that's when I met him the first time, and he's really nice, sweet guy. But so we went out to that show, and that was the night that it was Rogan, Ron White, Steve Byrne, like random fucking treat. Steve Byrne.
I forgot Steve was here for a while.
Yeah, and there was a couple others that came out, and we were our minds were blown away, dude, because this was our first time visiting here. It's like March of last year, and I was just like, what the fuck did I just happen to me? And so he totally downplayed how cool the show was going to be too. You know what I mean? And so, but that night, so we got Donnell Rawlings, right? Keep count. Donnell Rawlings. Then on Thursday, Chinese takeout happens. Do you know about Chinese takeout? The Chinese takeout joke where Tony was making some risque Asian jokes, and this guy stood up and got all mad and basically got thrown out of the venue. And Tony says,
I remember
and then
that.
Tony goes, that's what you call Chinese takeout. And the whole it was like the funniest thing I have ever seen in my life happened. So I was there for that. So flash forward a couple months later in May, and I shit you not, brother, I was in the crowd at the secret show when Pang Dang happened. So I was there for all three of the triple threat. I was there for Donnell, for Chinese, and I didn't even live here. I was there for Donnell, the Chinese takeout, and the whole Pang Dang thing.
That's wild.
And I was living in Portland still, just visiting. So what kind of weird luck is that, dude?
You want me to tell you what's funny is that on the opposite side of the same coin, I was at the Kill Tony at Antone's where Hans Kim got pulled out of the bucket to do his minute in front of Derek Poston, and he crushed. And that was the week of Kill Tony 500.
Yes.
And
he became the regular.
And he soon after became the regular. So I was there when Hans got pulled out, and I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. And then like coming back and visiting, and then he became a regular, I think. So it's like the good Asian side. You got to see all the negative Asian stuff. I'm on the positive side.
That's hilarious. But that to me is still shocking. I'm like, I can't believe I was here for all three of those incidents that happened. But it is weird. Dude, real quick, though, you said a name. Can we just talk about, in my opinion, one of the most underrated wrecking balls of stand-up comedy right now?
Derek Poston?
Absolutely, probably my favorite. Him and David Lucas are like my favorite comedians right now. Derek is, and I said this to him. I've seen him. I always give him praises at the comedy or at the Vulcan whenever I see him. But I go to shows enough, and I told him this one of the last times I ran into him there that I see comedians do the same shit. Like when you see Hans not on Kill Tony, you see all the Kill Tony bits.
Everybody has a set.
Well, all the Kill Tony bits basically smashed into the keepers from the Kill Tony minutes are smashed into a 30-minute set.
Right.
And I've seen Hans like 10 times in the last couple of months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like once you go to comedy shows, you kind of get used to seeing people do their shit a lot. And it's like it's fun from somebody who really loves the craft, and I want to do it someday. Like I've been writing, and I'm just kind of getting my balls together to go up and do an open mic or something. But you get to when you respect the craft, you're like, oh cool, they're working on stuff. Like he did it a little bit different.
Yeah,
Derek is the best at, like, I have rolled every time he's told a bit that I've already heard. I'm like, oh, yes,
he makes it new every time.
He makes it fresh every time. I told him that, and he was like, that's the best compliment you can give a comedian.
He is a crush. He's a guaranteed
one
crush.
Of the best comedians like I've ever seen. I think he's next up. I know he got a special on Netflix that's not airing for a long time or something, right? Or I don't even know. Was that a joke that he got the Netflix special? I don't even know what's going on with that.
I don't know. I sent him a message. It's like, nobody deserves it more. But then I looked at the next story, and it was like coming out in 2026.
That's what I saw. I don't know if it's true or not. But either way, dude, give that man some clout.
He deserves all of it.
He needs to go straight to the top right now.
He will.
He's so fucking good.
He will. But I've got this theory that the longer it takes you to get there, the longer you'll be there when you get there.
Ooh, okay. And that makes a lot of sense.
I'm kind of, for my own life, hoping that for myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm being very patient.
You're taking the chill road.
And You're taking my time.
Road. You're also doing music. A lot of these comedians don't have the separate, like, this is their one thing that they're working on, that they're hammering, that they're practicing. You're doing music over here. You don't want to be one of those guys that always has a guitar when you're doing your comedy set.
No,
you don't want to be the Stephen Lynch or whatever, you know what I mean? Or I think that's what his name was that used to do. I mean, he was funny, but
I never wanted to be that guy.
Bo Burnham is the only one that does it good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody can be like him.
Well, just like there's only one puppet guy.
Oh yeah,
there's only one puppet guy.
Don't even think about touching Jeff Dunham, dude.
Yeah, there's only one guy that can do that. There's only one guy, like it was Brian Regan doing clean stuff until Nate Bargatze kind of took that baton from him. So
I don't know too much about those guys. I know I've seen some Nate, but
he's very, very good clean comic.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like
Seinfeld had the torch,
the unwritten
the first
rule.
torch.
Yeah, in the unwritten rule of comedy, there can only be one.
Right.
Of
a lot of these things.
And so Bo Burnham is the music guy.
Oh, he is so fucking good.
Nobody else can.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of musical comedians in the area that are very funny.
Yeah.
Eggleston's very good. I don't know if you know about.
I don't know. I've probably seen
he's
him
very funny
at this point.
Maggie Mayfield does the same thing, does funny songs and stuff. She's very funny.
I think I've seen her on Kill Tony.
Yeah, she's been on Kill Tony. But I never wanted to do that because my songs are like traditionally like sad. And not necessarily, but yeah, they're sad.
Yeah.
Like my songs are deep
your originals.
and honest. Yeah, they're very much it's my journal and my diary for the most part, but like I never wanted to mix the two. I wanted to it was more of a challenge for me to do stand up cuz I know I can be good on stage with a guitar. I know I can. Like that's I've confirmed that.
See, that's another thing I wanted to talk about is because I'm close, Yonder. I'm very close. This has been 31 years in the making of love and comedy, and since I saw not 31, I guess, but since I saw Dave Chappelle when I was 12 years old, like I was like, that would be cool,
Yeah.
And then I've been performing for the last decade, and I'm really pretty damn good at that.
The hard part is just being comfortable.
I'm real good at that. Like I'm good with the microphone. I'm good at talking to the crowd. But for me, there's this. The only time I get nervous is when I start thinking about getting up there and doing some of my material. For the last year, I've been writing. I have a fucking note on my phone that's like this long, and I've just been plotting and scheming. And like I'm in the comedy capital of the world, and I want to get up there somewhere. I want to go out of downtown. I want to go to South Austin to a shitty bar, and I just want to do it where there's nobody. Like I just want to work. I want to practice like just what it's like to go up with no band behind me. You know what I mean? Like it's so similar but so different. And I feel like nobody understands that more than someone like you.
Yeah.
Because you keep those two parts of your life separate for the most part. But like, I guess I want to know the second backstory now, which is the comedy backstory. I want to know when that started because that will speak to me in a way where maybe I could, learn from your experiences and like when did you say, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go up there? And what was that first? Whether it was a bomb or you killed it or what was that like? Because I'm nervous about it, but I'm so close, dude. Like I sit at home and I'm just like, I'm gonna get up there. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen in the next month. I'm gonna go try because I've been working on. I'm not gonna go on Kill Tony like some of these guys do.
Yeah,
first time.
That's not the
just
way.
A bad mojo.
So I got into comedy honestly through Kill Tony, like wanting to do comedy. Like I've always been funny on stage. Like I'm funny and like situationally funny.
You make your friends laugh and shit.
Right. I've always been that guy. I was the class clown when I was in school.
Right.
Like I was that guy. So I've always tried to be funny, but when I first got into Kill Tony, which was thanks to Ron White, he was when Rogan was still live. You remember when Rogan all of his shows were still live?
I do remember that.
You get the notification, JRE is live with whoever.
I do remember that.
I watched all of them, but I didn't care who it was. I would click every single episode. I watched them all. And Ron White was on one when he was still drinking, and they drank about a bottle of his number one tequila, and he said, he's hammered as fuck, and he was like, I got to go down to the Comedy Store tonight and do Tony Hinchcliffe's podcast. And I was like, all right, well, I gotta watch that. He's drunk as shit. I've got to see what he goes.
Were they doing Kill Tony live too?
It was Kill Tony. It was live back
so you
then.
could go from one live podcast to the next back then on YouTube.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
So he was like, yeah, they're going live at 8 o'clock, and Red Band would always stream live, like, and it would always be like, you know what? I don't know if you're a Twitch guy.
Yeah.
Live streams are quirky. There's a lot of moving parts.
I used to do this on Twitch.
Yeah,
and that's why we stopped doing it live.
A lot of moving parts, and that's when you add into like not great internet at the Comedy Store plus whatever.
Plus, what was that? 15, 2000?
15, 16. Well, 7. I got into it around 17.
Okay.
Because it was after I quit drinking for sure. Maybe 16, 17. Anyway, long story short, I watched that night. Ron White went on, and I was like, dude, Kill Tony is the best thing ever. And, And I was like, I want to watch this. Like, I want to watch more of this. So I watched a couple. I was into Tom and Bert and Joe. Mm-hmm. So I watched a couple of Tom and Bert episodes, and I was like, okay, I want to start from the beginning. I want to see where this started. So I started from Kill Tony episode 1, Hinchcliffe's Notes, actually. Episode 1.
He used to be called that.
It was Hinchcliffe's Notes. Like Cliff Notes.
That's some lore. Yeah.
So Hinchcliffe's Notes, I watched like the first couple episodes, and then it was finally like Kill Tony. It was when they finally found their name, I think episode 3. And I was like, shit, this is like the greats of comedy, like Dom Irrera.
They're coming on here and
Ron
watching
White,
these guys and picking them apart.
And Eric Griffin and just Kirk Fox, people who give like really insightful comedy.
And back then it was
advice.
A little bit less roasty, maybe not less roasty, but there was a little bit more of a constructive criticism.
It was very that was the point of the show in the beginning, was to help out comedians that wanted to get started, to show them the way, and have actual comedians help them show them the way. And like Bill Burr, all of these guys were on early episodes and would just talk to these comics. And I was realizing, like, fuck, dude, this is a masterclass on comedy, a free masterclass for comedy. And I was like, okay. So I got into that, and that's when I started running minutes between my songs. Like, actually, like I would always like talk anything
you mean
you
when
guys
you were
want to
like
hear.
Playing, this is in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, this is in Myrtle Beach.
So were you playing shows, like gigs around bars and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, that was my job. Like, that was my day job.
Okay.
Like, I didn't like
Cool.
that was my means of survival for a really long time there. So but I would always talk to the crowd, but it was always music related. Anything you guys want to hear, feel free to yell it out.
Sure.
30% chance I'll know it. I'll do 100% of what I do know within reason, of course. It's a family establishment. Like, I had these spiels that I would go into. But when I got into Kill Tony, I started thinking, what would happen if I actually started doing jokes, like actual jokes? So I started writing jokes, and I would run them between songs. And then after I did that, I was like, okay, so am I doing stand-up now? And I did that for like 2 years.
Kind of. Pretty much.
I did that for like 2 years. So I was like, am I doing stand-up though? And then one day, like during the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, it was like I had nothing to do. I was sitting at home. I had no gigs. And I was like, well, I gotta figure something out. And there was like this random showcase it wasn't necessarily an open mic. It was like a showcase
of locals.
And I had a little bit of pull back home. Like, my name, like, I was pretty well known in Myrtle Beach I did it for 15 years. So, like, it was like, yeah, of course, if I got put on a showcase
to do comedy or
for
to
the
do
first
music?
time. Yeah,
to do comedy. Okay, cool.
For the first time.
And you went up with no guitar.
Yes.
Cool.
So,
way outside of the comfort zone.
Right. But I went up, and I was a Periscope guy. Like, I don't know if you were there for the Periscope years.
I kind of remember the app name, but it's an app, right?
Yeah. So I would stream on Periscope, like, before Twitch was huge.
And it was kind of like a mixture of,
it was
like,
Twitch or Twitter.
Twitter. Okay.
It was like Twitter's live, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I went live on Periscope for my first set ever. I sat the stand right in front of me.
Probably not a good decision.
Not a good decision because I had it faced the wrong way. It was facing the crowd and not me.
Right.
And it was for my Discord. Like, the Kill Tony Discord people were all excited about me finally going up and doing stand-up because I'm always joking with them in there.
How many years ago was this?
This was in 2000, and it was the pandemic, so it was like 2020,
okay.
only
so
like
recently.
2 years ago,
okay,
technically. But yeah,
that was
the
first time?
First time actually going up with the means of like no guitar. Like, my opener was like I played music professionally for 15 years now, which is a pretty easy job if you're good at music. But I'm lazy, so I wanted to figure out a way to put in even less effort.
Okay.
So
you didn't have to play guitar?
Yeah, so I didn't have to bring all the other shit.
Yeah.
So that was basically like my opener.
That's an icebreaker.
And a lot of my music friends were there, and a couple other people that I knew were there to be supportive. So I got a couple laughs, but it was a bomb.
Yeah.
It was a bomb by any measure. And then I was like, okay, so this is a thing that I could actually do. And I didn't really go up other than that. I was like, I kind of like it better when I'm like just saying the stuff between my songs at my set, because I've got a 4-hour spot or 3-hour spot usually.
Right.
I can do much better at filling the time by.
It's a long set.
Yeah, but it's a lot shorter when you're having a good time, fucking with the crowd, cutting up with them, and like that made it easier. So like, then I was like, okay, well, Kill Tony doing pandemic episodes. I was like, fuck it, I got a couple of really nice bits. I'll record them in it. But I did it with like an actual microphone, and I recorded the audio. Like it was a nice, like nicely produced. Video. It was a decent video.
Yeah.
So, I think that got Redman's attention because he does the, does the producing stuff. So I think
so. He was like, oh, this guy's got some video chops or whatever.
Yeah,
like
I guess. I'm assuming, but I think that's what he was thinking. And then I did that. So technically, like the Kill Tonys and the Secret shows are the only like comedy shows I've ever really like.
It's pretty badass.
I've really done, and a lot, but it does upset a lot of people where they're like, "Oh, well, you don't go do the open mics, you don't go do this, you don't do that," and then you get on
story, brother.
Then you get on Kill Tony, and you get on secret shows. Well, like comedians that work hard could take those spots.
People are always going to be mad in the creative field when people are working smarter, not harder, or when people are just naturally a more not to sound like big-headed or whatever, but when you look at somebody and you that jealousy is coming from, or that feeling is coming from jealousy that they're better than me or whatever, and then you kind of take that in and then you transform it into, oh, they don't deserve that, they don't do the work, they don't go to the open mics, or you know what I mean, or whatever. And it's like there's always going to be those people, I feel like, in the performing arts when opportunities start to happen for other folks, and I just don't understand it. I mean, I do, because I feel like that's the natural reflex is to go, I want that. And then you have to go, good for them. You know what I mean? Like that's we all have that feeling. We see somebody get on a big show or a big tour or something, big opportunity, big, episode of Kill Tony pulled out of the bucket. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's like people go like, oh, I wish that was me, but good for them. You know what I mean? The good ones turn it back around into a positive thing. You know what I mean? You can't harbor that kind of shit.
I did a podcast with Joel Berg back in the day.
I don't know who that is.
Joel Jimenez. He was
sounds familiar.
Oh man. Okay, so you've just gotten into Kill Tony since Austin.
No.
Since the move?
Well, yeah, since my first Kill Tony was the Donnell Rawlings that I ever watched, and then I've watched hundreds. I went back and watched like hundreds of them.
So Joel Berg, Joel Jimenez, the original drummer for the Kill Tony band.
Oh, okay.
The original Mexican drum off.
I remember when he came. I think he came back to one of the shows.
He was on 500.
He was wearing a mask or something, and like pulled the ski mask
episode
off, and
500.
It was Joel or something. Yeah.
Yeah. That was episode 500. I was there with him backstage. He came up to me and he pulled his mask up, and I was like, "Motherfucker, what are you? I didn't know you were gonna be here." But I think that was the point. It was a surprise. But anyway, but I was talking to him. I did a podcast with him. I interviewed him on my show a long time ago, and he said like and this is an old adage, but a rising tide raises all ships. And I never heard that before, which is odd because it's been around forever. But
it sounds like one of your Southernisms.
It does. But he's the first one I've heard say that. A rising tide raises all ships. And I believe in that 100%. So I think that like...
What's the breakdown of that? Because I'm not putting it together.
Okay, so like... basically, it's not just because this person is rising up that you're going to be left down here.
Right.
So like
it brings everybody up.
If one person does good, it's gonna bring everybody up in that are associated with that person.
More people need to think like that.
And I hear it a lot now with comedians who are that are not the conventional comedian, like the hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah. Like you got people like Casey Rocket.
Oh my God, so funny.
Murderer.
Or Laser.
Uncle Laser.
Dude, Uncle Laser is phenomenal.
Murderers.
Yeah.
And I mean every single time. Oh, by the way, Casey Rocket, hold on. Here's a picture of Grimace on Dale Earnhardt's pit crew. I carry this around in my pocket. I'm gonna give it to Casey. I found it at
because he keeps a picture of Grimace in his pocket or something as a gag.
Several.
That dude is hilarious.
But either way, like I don't want to spoil his act.
Right.
But But yeah, dude, just people like Casey and Laser, and just like that'll come in and instantly murder. And dude, I love it.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love it, dude. Like,
you can't be jealous or mad about that. You know what I mean?
and
like,
if you are, go
work on yourself.
Yeah, go work on yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. Go fix your own life if you're
Just
upset
be
about that.
entertained. Like, remember why you got into doing this.
Yeah.
Because you saw people that were way better than you at it. And
Yeah.
you were like, wow, I want to try.
But either way, like Casey is he's a secret show regular. He's going to Houston to
He's kind
headline
of like
tomorrow
you with
night.
Kill Tony, where he's like a reoccurring character, but not a regular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too. Like, he pops in on there, and it's always a big.
Yeah.
It's always a fun thing.
But
and
he's
everybody's
on-
excited to see him.
He's on all the shows. He still goes out and does the mics. He works his stuff.
Doesn't he do
riffs.
a podcast with William?
He's on Williams' podcast. But I was actually I was over at Williams' house yesterday. We were talking about this, and it's like a lot of people don't get that, like, the rising tide thing. They
Yeah, it
don't
brings everybody
understand.
up.
They don't understand that,
That
like,
puts the spotlight on Austin comedy scene, and it gives
It
you more of
does.
an opportunity to be a star. You know
if
what I
they're
mean?
those guys are bringing eyeballs to the
Big time.
to the scene, and like that's a huge deal that people don't take into account. They just rather be jealous that somebody is getting an opportunity that they wish they got.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time like running what's it called when you're like dealing with fallback or like
Imposter syndrome or something.
damage control. There you this fucking guy.
He needs a mic.
He
I
gets
know.
it. You
I'm
should
sorry.
sing when you play guitar. You get it. But no, yeah, I've been running a lot of damage control on people that like I'll hear complain about somebody like that's unconventional, and they'll say things like, "Yeah, well, you know, like, well, is that comedy?" And I'm
Oh
like,
my
"Yes, it's
God.
fucking comedy. People laugh.
Jesus Christ.
People
That's like,
they speak and people laugh. Like
I'm
that's
like,
how
I don't
it
know.
works."
He just plays guitar on stage and talks to the crowd. Is that music, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what?
Well, it's the same thing that I've suffered from this is like I'll like DJs that'll come in with a laptop and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, that's not really music. You know, they don't
Yeah.
even play anything. They're just pressing a play on Spotify."
I used to be like that. And
I
then
was too.
And then I started,
I
because
was
there's
too.
that purist elitist musician
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that happens when you're young and you're like playing shows and you're like, they're not even doing anything. It doesn't take
Yeah.
any talent. And then you like grow up and like that kind of music more, and you're like, oh, these guys fuck. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, these guys are
They get
doing
it.
some dope shit up there. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, what they're tweedling, but it's fucking good.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, anytime you get a reaction out of a crowd,
You're a performer.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's jealousy.
That's
is all
a great
it really
example
is.
of what you just said about comedy too. About
Yeah.
people asking if that's comedy. That's
Right.
the example I'm looking for. Is that I was looking for is like if you just go up there and press spacebar,
Yeah.
that's not music. It fucking is music.
It's music, and I mean, it might not be music that person created,
Sure,
but
the mix is though.
sometimes, dude, there's art in making a good mixtape.
Oh yeah,
Like
there's art in making a good wedding playlist or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, or
Anything.
whatever. My buddy's like really good at making a playlist for a party or something, and it's like every song he goes from the oldies to like a new song.
Yeah,
To, you know what I mean, and like.
every bit of creativity is all subjective, and people are gonna always figure out a way to complain about it if it doesn't benefit them,
Right.
and if they're that kind of person anyway. If it's
Sure.
not benefiting them,
That's got to be a pattern holding them back in life in general. If
Yeah.
they're going around saying shit like that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's got to be something where every time something good happens to somebody else, regardless of whether it's in
Yeah.
the entertainment business or not, they're poo-pooing it.
it's never the really funny comics that I hear making these
Right.
claims or saying these things. It's
Exactly.
always a comic that struggles.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what it is. It's just like some people have to tear other people down to bring them up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's their way
It's
of
like
doing
a defense
that.
mechanism or something.
Yeah, it's
Instead
like-
of going and practicing or
Yeah,
whatever.
instead
they
of
should be
getting
doing.
better, they would rather just stay where they are and bring these people down, which
Right.
isn't fair.
No.
And nobody deserves Nobody deserves that harder, like more than somebody like Laser or Casey, because
they're actually
Casey
psychos.
And what I love about Casey is, as a sober guy, which I smoke weed, but I still that doesn't
California
count.
sober.
Yeah, David Tell said, "Oh, you're Austin sober," and I was like, "No, I don't do coke." So,
I guess
but yeah, California sober. So, but Casey is like full on sober, no pot, like chain smoke cigarettes.
Unreal.
Like,
how do you
Red
have
Bull.
a brain like that? And you're like, how do you have a creative brain like that? And you're not,
dude,
doing some sort of substance.
Another thing that I was talking to William last night, because William is also
now.
doing just
Fucking
the weed,
killing it too,
doing
dude.
just the pot, which is the way. And by the way, dude, he has a fucking volcano, dude. I was so fucked up when I got to that Christmas party.
Dude, I can't do that.
Those volcanoes are different. The whole bag that you fill up.
They make you afraid. I get afraid. When I smoke shit like that, it's an edible high from smoking weed. It's like literally an edible high for me, where my body, I'm like, am I like, what's going on with me? You know?
Yeah. I was rambling. I was saying too much. I texted him later. I was like, man, I'm sorry if I was just high rambling, dude. I was trying to say this.
But you were still high, feeling awkward, like you were
like,
high. Like
4 hours
you
later.
should have just left it alone, because he would have never thought about it, you being rambling, or that was just like you being still high, like questioning whether or not you were rambling.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all good though.
You get home and you're like, fuck, was I being an idiot?
Like, man, I need to. But I'm bad. I'm bad about that. I'm bad about like sending a message later, being like, "Hey, man, I don't know. I don't want to leave whatever we had on. Like, I don't want it to be awkward in your head because it's kind of awkward in mine."
And they're probably not even thinking about it.
And they're probably not. But I'm always just well, even if it is, like, because it was awkward in my head. Like,
right.
Damn it, it'll be awkward in yours now too. So
you got to share this with me.
But no, I'm always like just making sure that I'm understood. Like, that's my communication. I'm big on communication.
It's key.
And I want it to be clear what I'm trying to say, because sometimes when you're high, you'll say something that comes out or the wrong way.
Or you'll say something, especially if you're a comic and you're around comedians, I'm guessing you'll say something like off the cuff to try to be funny and it doesn't land or something like that. Or I don't know if you guys do that stuff or not, but like try to like make a joke out of something and it's like people don't get it and then you feel weird or something, I'd imagine.
The first couple of days that I worked at Vulcan, I was trying to do that, like just constantly make jokes, and then it was kind of like
somebody had to pull you aside.
We're at work. No, we're at work. Like, we don't do that here.
Yeah,
like we're at work.
Yeah,
pretty much. And it's like, I get it.
Don't work on material here, bud.
Yes. But now that I've been there a long time and I see new comics that are coming in and work the job, and then they try to do that, and I see it, and I'm like, hey, we don't do that here.
Yeah. Nice.
So now I'm the guy that's
your
like,
dad now.
Hey,
you're like, listen, son.
Yeah, save that for the Lucky Duck.
Right. Save that for when you get pulled out of the bucket.
By the way, you need to do that, man. Lucky Duck's on Wednesday nights.
Okay. I'll give it a shot. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna do it, Yonder. I really want to try, man. I have a passion for it and a respect for the craft.
Man. And I don't know if you're a late stay up late kind of guy.
Too often.
Okay, so if you do stay up late on Wednesday nights, and I don't go as often as I used to. On Wednesday nights after we get out of the Rogan shows,
you'll go with me.
A lot of the crew, I'll go if you want to go. Just let me know.
Sure.
I'll go with you. But a lot of the staff will leave work and go straight to the Lucky Duck, and then we kind of just take over that mic.
Yeah.
At the very end, though, it's after whoever's signed up can still go up.
Some good
and
comedy there. Then
at the very end,
you guys show up.
Oh, it's just funny. Bomb after bomb.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is I'm trying to. I'm just trying to get the gumption to get up there and do something and just try to flex that muscle and see what it's like. It's like working out a muscle that I've never had, but it's like there's so many similarities to performing music, but it's so different. And you have to be I'm hyper aware of that. You know what I mean? That just cuz I can go up there and talk to a crowd very confidently and make a whole room jump around and stuff like that, 100 plus people, like it doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to have the same crowd control on a comedy stage. It's just going to be a completely different animal. And I bombed before. I mean, we were in Oklahoma. We started our set and it was epic and everybody was feeling it and they were vibing, and then and all of our shit stops working, and then I have to be a stand-up comedian for a minute or whatever in my head, whatever that is in my head, and I have to like keep shit going while they figure it the fuck out back there. You know what I mean? And then we start again, and we're back, and we got them again, and everything's good. And then I'll be damned if, and it happens a second time, dude. And then and then it's like double bombing like that, especially in the music sector, in the music arena. It's like, that's so embarrassing, dude.
Did you guys ever get deja vu?
Well, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. There you go. I could have pulled that out.
Yeah.
But then we had to borrow some gear, and we made it work and finished our set, and everybody loved it, right? So it's like we made it out of the bomb. I feel like I have a taste of what bombing might be like, but I have to go up there and rip the Band-Aid off and just like get a real comedy bomb under my belt and just like really fail miserably. Yeah, on the comedy stage and feel what that's like, and then we can know that rock bottom is there, and then we can start trying to work from there. But
so
I'm probably overthinking all of this before I should just go do it.
Yeah, just do it, man. Like, don't overthink it, because you'll
it.
never go up. You'll never go up if you keep thinking
right
in your head like that. But it's just the open mics for me personally. It's like, as a musician, if I were to go up and play 4 minutes in front of a crowd of people who thinks that they're better than me,
right?
And if I am better than them, they're gonna be pissed that I am better than them.
It doesn't seem like the best arena,
and they're not gonna laugh or clap. And if I'm not better than them, if I'm not better than them and they're better than me, then they're like not gonna laugh, or they're like, oh, what is this guy doing? He's taking time that I could be using. He's taking time away from something that I could have.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the politics in comedy that I don't notice in music.
It seems like, so that's one thing that I don't go to a lot of open mics. I haven't been in my life to a lot of them, like just to watch them. You know, bars will do them and stuff.
Right.
But one day after I moved here recently, we went over to Buzzmill.
Yeah.
And that's a place I will never do open mic, because it looks, first of all, you've got a full back patio area, and the patio's like this, and the stage is over here in the left corner, and then the whole patio's full of chatty people, so nobody's listening to you, right?
Most of them are just comics waiting to go up.
And the people that are listening are comics, and then like people that are easily offended. It's a very like, you know, I don't know. It seems like the
woke
crowd is a very woke kind of crowd that's over there, and they're just like easily offended. And so it just seems, and then that got me thinking, like, maybe because we do like performance stuff already, like when we do performance stuff, with music, we're going to a place where people are excited to be there to watch music, right?
Yeah.
And so that already gives us kind of an edge. So I'm like, I want to go try a few and then try to like get a spot on a show if it goes okay, because I feel like I might do better in a place where people, if I'm rehearsing, I feel confident, I might do better in a place where that's not an open mic, where people are more ready to see some more excited about seeing something. You know what I mean? Because it seems like open mics are like, they're going there to watch people fail.
I've noticed, and honestly, I shouldn't speak on it too much because I don't go to as many as other people, but in the ones that I've gone to, it seemed to me like most of the crowd is just comics waiting for their time to go up. Yeah. And then for the same reason, it's just like, oh, this guy's taking time from me that I could be using right now.
Right.
Like, and then I feel like a dick.
Well, it sucks because in the same breath they're like, he should be out there working, and then it's like, if you go work and you don't kill it, then they're mad at you for going and working. So it's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's why I don't.
Right.
That's why I don't, and not to like,
you don't have to
pin any roses on myself, but like, I don't, like, when I go up, like, the only time I have a bad set is at open mics.
Right.
Like, if I go up at Secret Show
or Kill Tony
or pretty much any other like show where people are like there for comedy, like a ticketed event where they're there to laugh, I will make them laugh.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think that would be more my arena, but I can't speak on it either because I've never tried it yet.
But for the open mics, I know a lot of people, it's more for the hang,
right?
And because I don't party or drink or anything, I'm not as interested.
And you're a little not.
I
about
love the people.
Not about the social thing too. Like,
well, I love them.
Recreational socializing. Like
not so much. Like it's I can do it But I honestly, like, I'm in a new city, and I have been here for a year, but it's still a new city.
Yeah.
And I'm very scared that I'll relapse.
Right.
Like, a lot of new things are happening in my life, and I'm experiencing a lot of stuff I've never experienced anymore. It's exciting, or I've never experienced before, rather, and it is very exciting. I don't want to be in a hang or whatever and just be like, you know what, man, I've got it under control now.
Right.
I've got it
How
under
long
control.
have you been off the sauce? And were you just drinking, or was it like just boozing, or just?
I had a problem with Coke and booze.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really get into the Coke until after I really quit drinking. But I quit smoking cigarettes and I quit drinking in the same month in 2016.
Okay.
And
good for you, man.
Thank you. And so I'll have 7 years this coming February.
That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah. But
yeah, don't fuck that up.
Yeah, well, I told Tony the other night I was in a really bad mindset Monday, and I think he could see it. So he came over and was like, "What's up with you? Let's talk. What's going on?" And I'm like, I'm just can't get ahead sometimes. Like can't get ahead of myself.
Right.
And he's like, "We got to get you to come hang out. We gotta talk. We gotta hang out. I'm gonna be here for a couple of weeks. We'll get together and hang out and talk." And I was like, "Yeah, we got to do it somewhere where I won't be like tempted to relapse."
Right.
And
so you got to have
like,
friends that are in your corner with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, like I have to, like I don't know that a lot of people know that I don't drink.
Right.
That are in the circle, that
Sure.
are in that, that are kind of in the places where I would go.
Yeah. You're opening up here.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know that a lot of people know that about me. Like, it's a big deal back home because I had a following there, and everybody
Sure.
kind of followed my progress, and, like,
right.
it was a deal. So here I didn't have that so much, but
well, that's good for you to have that kind of self-control. You know what I mean? Where like or self-awareness, really.
Right.
That, you got to stay on it. But
yeah, I had a big issue with the Coke. Like, I did a lot of powder after I quit drinking. Kind of.
It was your.
I had to pick up another vice,
Yeah.
and then after I quit the Coke, I started podcasting.
Do you think that's worse?
Yeah.
Or better than like you think booze is worse, or or Coke is worse? Because the Coke seems worse. It seems like you went from one to the other. Or actually, I guess I don't know.
The Coke is pretty bad, but the at least the Coke doesn't have the stigma of alcohol where like so many people do it. It makes it normalizes it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it to where like this is a normal thing to do. Like everybody drinks. It's available.
But when
everywhere.
you're a drunk, you're like, oh, that's the town drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Falling over, throwing up.
Exactly.
Yelling
like
at people.
Anybody who can't handle their booze.
Yeah. Was there a moment where you were like, I gotta fucking get sober?
Yeah. Well, we had this Murrells Inlet, the town I'm from, right outside of Myrtle Beach, has this thing called Taste of the Marsh Walk, which is where like all of the local restaurants will like have their like their signature dishes, and everybody can like go bar hop and try the signature dishes at all of these places, like a hoity-toity kind of. Come taste all of the food that we have at these restaurants.
It's like
and
the
there's
taste
a strip
of Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Right.
But there's a strip of all of these restaurants there. And Taste of the Marsh Walk that year so happened to fall on the same day as the Bloody Mary competition, which is another thing that all of the restaurants in the area do, where the bartenders will make their Bloody Marys, and it's like a competition, and oyster roast, and my band Cornbread, we played that.
That's such a dope band name.
Yeah, well, we got a gig on December 26th, Dead Dog Saloon. But we did that set at like noon, like a set from like noon to or 11 to noon, and then I had a 1 to 4 set at Dead Dog Saloon in Murrells Inlet. So I did. And I don't drink Bloody Marys. I would just go up with my drink tickets and be like, just give me the shot of vodka.
Yeah, I'd be the same way.
They were like, it's hot. And I was like,
yeah, so am I.
Sure. I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me neat.
Yeah.
But I drank probably 6 or 7 shots of vodka between the hours of 11 and noon. And then I went over to Dead Dog and threw up in a trash can and drank probably 10 to 12 shots of Rumple from the hours of 1 to 4
p.m.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And this is a morning thing, and I'm not a morning guy. So I was already like on no sleep, hungover from the night before, hair of the dog at the Bloody Mary competition, and then all the Rumple that I drank, not counting all the other shots. That was just Rumple. And like people would bring us all shots all the time to the stage, and I was an addict.
Yeah.
I am an addict.
Yeah.
So that night, one of my buddies hammered his shit, needed a ride home, and I was drunk as fuck, but everybody lived on the same roads. I mean, as dumb as it sounds, it was a safe place to drunk drive. So like it was, I don't know, I got him home,
right,
and he pulled me down as I was trying to like help him up. He had fallen out of my car and I was trying to help him up, and he pulled me down and I slammed my head into the driveway.
What a shit show of a day.
So yeah, like that happened, and then like I made a fool out of myself, and I was the drunk guy that would slap people. Oh, I was a slapper,
and I bet you, you got a build on you. Like I bet you got a mean slap.
Yeah,
I bet it hurts. If you put some torque on there,
yeah,
it's probably a good slap.
But yeah, I did that. I would get drunk and I would slap people, and if they slapped me back, then I knew that they were cool and that they would be my friend.
That's gotta be one of the worst types of drunks to be.
Yeah,
is the drunk guy that slaps people.
Well, yeah, I was him. Anyway, but I did that a lot that night, and I just slapped a bunch of people that I shouldn't have, and everybody was like, everybody was upset, and I made a couple people.
I'm sorry,
cry.
I'm not laughing at you.
No, it's funny.
It's fun. It's a good story.
It's funny, but no, I made a couple people cry, and it hurt my feelings actually, and I was just being really, really mean.
Like you slapped them and they cried because it hurt.
Well, why are you doing this? Like, why? Why did you? We're friends. Like, I love you. Why are you slapping me? And I had a concussion, obviously.
It's your love language.
And I was just fucking hammered, and I called out a bunch of people. I said a bunch of shit that shouldn't have been said, and I was like, the next day, I was like, man, I feel so shitty, and I punched myself a lot because nobody would slap me back. That was my game. That was
your gag.
That was my game, is nobody would slap me back, so I just started like, oh, nobody else will, then I'll do it. So I started slapping myself, and then that wasn't enough. I was like, is that not enough? So I started punching myself. I woke up the next day with like 2 black eyes.
And you're like, who did I get in a fight with? And they were like,
no,
you're just hitting yourself.
That's the weird part, is I never black out.
Okay.
I remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
So later on in that day, we played trivia that night, and that was a Monday night. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna, like, I don't need to drink today. I need to take a day off.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And that was it. I needed to take a day off.
The day off became 7 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You're doing so awesome now.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see, like, it's cool to hear the story. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't even a question when I asked you to do the podcast, like, what am I going to talk to this guy about? Because I was very interested in, like, where did this fucking ball of charisma and talent come from?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know, and it's cool to hear that you were like a fan of the Kill Tony, because that's where I know you're from. You know, you were a fan of Kill Tony, and then you just kind of became like a part of the group. And it's like it's such a wild, and it's like to throw the sobriety thing in there, and that's a success story right there, brother.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, we can wrap. How long have we been going, Tony?
Hour 30, 37.
Hour 30. I think we can probably wrap it up, dude. I really appreciate you for coming out here.
Thanks
and talking
for having
to me,
man. Thank you.
Hopefully we can hang out again sometime. And maybe if you ever start your pod back up, I'd love to come and chat with you about stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate it. And if you want to plug, wherever people can find you, let them know. On Spotify and
Spotify, Kelsey Hudgins, KelseyHudgins on Spotify. All of my originals are there. I recorded and produced almost everything there myself, all instruments, all awesome. Production. I did it all myself in my apartment in Merle's Inlet.
Kick ass.
For the most part. There's a couple old stuff that was recorded elsewhere, but yeah, and everywhere else I'm Yonder Wizzerd.
Yonder Wizzerd. You can see him sometimes on Kill Tony.
Yep.
most nights at the Vulcan if you want to say hi.
That's right.
Don't actually come say hi to him. He doesn't like that, right? No,
I don't mind. No, I love that. I like being recognized. Just
be easy on him.
Be nice when you're inside the building.
Yeah.
When the show's going on, you don't want to see me.
Don't make him work too hard. Come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Thursday nights at Vulcan at the Secret Show most of the time. You're opening up
tomorrow night.
Come watch you play live music. You're wildly talented, man, and I
Thank you
appreciate
so much,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.